Welcome to the Seattle Bird Podcast. I'm your host, Leo. This episode, our bird spotlight is on the mallard. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a mallard. The mallard is what you think of when you think of a duck. They're big and colorful ducks. The male has an iridescent head that usually looks green, but sometimes looks blue or even purple. From head to tail, they have white collars, brown breasts, gray bodies, and finally black tails. They have blue speculum feathers, which are secondary wing feathers. You can learn more about these feathers in our prior episode on Gadwalls. Females are all brown with orange bills and blue speculum feathers. They're dabbling ducks, meaning that they don't dive underwater, but instead reach right below the surface to eat seeds and aquatic vegetation. When not breeding, they eat mostly plants, but according to all about birds, during the breeding season, they eat mainly animal matter including aquatic insect larvae, earthworms, snails, and freshwater shrimp. They can be found in almost any pond, even by the loosest definition of pond. You sometimes see them sitting in a small pool of water or feeding in mud on a wet field. Mallards are one of the two kinds of ducks that were domesticated, along with Muscovy ducks, and that is why a few birds you will see look mostly like a mallard, but a little different. That means it's probably a domesticated duck, for example, a bibbed mallard. This domesticated duck is like a mallard, but in males, the bib area is white, its head is speckled with white, and he's overall darker colored. However, all domestic mallards look different, and if you see a duck that looks like a mallard, isn't any other ducks you know of, and looks kind of weird, it's probably a domestic duck. Mallards are quite similar to another species called a Mexican duck. Mexican ducks, both male and female, look similar to female mallards. Pre-1983, the Mexican duck was a different species from the mallard, but a study by John Hubbard caused scientists to merge the two species into one. The study highlighted a lot of crosses between Mexican ducks and mallards. After the merge, Mexican ducks became a subspecies of mallard. However, following newer studies with more DNA analysis, in 2020, scientists split the Mexican duck into its own species again. Mexican duck can be found in the southwestern US and Mexico. According to All About Birds, mallard form pairs in the fall and continue courtship throughout the winter. In the spring, they breed, at which point only the female incubates eggs and looks after the ducklings. Mallards crossbreed with many other species in their genus, forming hybrids. Mallards can't fly for about 3 to 4 weeks during the summer, after they shed all their flight feathers. At this point, they have what is called eclipse plumage, which is much more subdued. Mallards are strong flyers, able to travel at speeds up to 55 miles per hour. Stay safe, ducks, and pay attention to the speed limit in your local area. According to the science journal Nature, mallards sometimes sleep with one eye open to watch for predators. In an experiment conducted by sleep researcher Niels Rattenberg of Indiana State University, mallards were placed in a row of clear tanks. When sleeping, the mallards placed in the center slept with both eyes shut, and the ones on the ends kept the outside eye open. The half of the brain controlling the closed eye had sleep characteristics, while the other half had activity levels of an awake duck. When shown a slide of a predator, those with one eye open reacted in less than a fifth of a second. The mallard is known by the binomial name Anas platyrhynchos. Anas is one genus of dabbling ducks, and Anas is Latin for duck. Platyrhynchos is of ancient Greek origin, meaning broad-billed. Some people think that mallard refers to only the male. According to Wikipedia, the name mallard originally referred to any wild drake, and it is sometimes still used this way. It was derived from the Old French Mallard or Mallard for wild drake, although its true derivation is unclear. In reality, mallard refers to males and females. There are a bunch of species whose females look like mallard females, most notably the gadwall. We covered this difference in our episode on gadwalls, but again, just check the speculum feathers. Mallards have blue specula, and Gadwalls have white specula. Another common species whose females look like mallard females is the shoveler. They can be nearly indistinguishable until you look at the bill. Shoveler females have humongous bills. The bird calls were recorded by Arthur A. Allen, David G. Allen, Robert C. Stein, and William W. H. Gunn, and were available courtesy of the Macaulay Library at the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. Research is by me and Brian. Our sources for this episode are the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, the journal Nature, and Wikipedia. The audio editing is by me. The theme song is by Felix. I'm your host, Leo. Until next time.